Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, let's get into this. I'm going to do a specific message. And so these are the ones that have more detail. We go with whatever we see on the cards in these fictional stories. And I do these when an image pops into my head. And I pictured somebody who had a hammer and they were either hammering in like a little finishing nail or it seemed like it was up against a wall. They were like going to be putting something together or needing something that they could, like it almost seems like somebody was putting up like little hooks or like what are the little eyelets or screws so they could thread something else through it. I don't know if somebody was like hanging up fairy lights or if it was something that they were getting ready to put together. I didn't feel like it was furniture though. I felt like it was preparing something that would be like hanging on a wall, but it was like to assemble multiple components. So I don't know what that's all about yet, but it could be the fact that somebody is working on, preparing something or putting things together. Hi guys, Violet. Hi honey, you were first. And Jeannie Vale, the light, Slay Princess, Ginger Montague. Hi everybody, so good to see you. We have the magician sideways. Okay, so I don't know how this is going to go just yet, but we do have Virgo Gemini energy, and we have someone who's been. I almost look in these specific messages. I try to go with what I actually think and see, no matter how sci-fi it may be, and we're going to go down that road because I feel like we have possibly a feminine who is intentionally like trying to picture what someone else is doing, like, oh, what would they be doing right about now? And it just is like she's trying to like teleport or something, trying to imagine what else is going on. And you know what's so interesting? I have to tell you, I've had this deck for a really long time. And it's the first time I've ever noticed this. So this is the card oriented upright. And we can see that she has the, excuse me, infinity symbol over her head. But if we reverse it, and it should be just her reflection in the water, but it's not. She has the world on top of her head, like their crown chakra. So her reflection of what she's trying to manifest is like new beginnings. It's just kind of an interesting thing because I think that lends more credence to the idea that we may have a feminine who's like meditating. Her thought processes are turning to somebody else, maybe someplace far away from her, and she's like, hey, universal consciousness. I'm connected with, anyone that I consider to be near and dear to me. Maybe she's giving somebody strength who's currently like putting things together, preparing something. And she's like, you know what? I'm picturing like in my astral projection or my meditation that someone far, far away from me could use a little bit of like stay grounded. You got this. I want to say babe. So I don't know if this is like a romantic partner or somebody that we have a two of cups. So yes. Let's say so I'll say something silly. So like Aries, if I have to take Aries in like to go see his vet or something, and they take him to the back and they don't let you go with them. And sometimes Aries does not like that at all. And so I have to pretend I'm going into the back with them. And then, I have to behave like a non-helicopter parent and chill out and let them continue on with him. But I always sit down and wait for him, but I'm literally picturing and talking to him in my mind. Like, don't worry, they're just going to draw some blood. It won't hurt. They really like you. You're going to come right back to me, and I'm just on the other side of the door. Aries does not like being, a door between us. And it has been like that his whole doggy life. But my thought, the only reason I'm saying that out loud is because I'm picturing that we may have a character who's like projecting, like, I'm here, I got you kind of energy, not like, ooh, this creepy, like, I want to spy on them, astral project to see what they're up to. Obviously, this looks like a loving energy. This looks like, so I don't know if this is just like a 5D connection. Obviously, this is between, human beings, not talking to someone's puppy dog to send them calming energy. But this feels like, just sending good vibes, but a little bit more than that. This obviously it's a stronger connection than that. And I know they're shaking hands here, but I actually feel like it's more of a visible, if we could see energy, she would literally be like, giving somebody like, hey, I'm holding your hand as you do something that, is maybe overwhelming you, or maybe you're fatigued right now, but I'm right here with you. That's the vibe she's sending out. And obviously he's grateful for it. Again, there's no words being spoken. They're not in the same space, not in the same room, not in the same anything. So yet he's picking up that energy. Maybe he doesn't know why he feels calmer, or maybe he does. I don't know about that yet. This could be something work related for him. Like maybe he's got to give a presentation. The only thing is, I don't know if these two really have, okay, it's definitely work related. I don't know if he has the energy of like knowing her, knowing of her, knowing about her, or if this is just purely like and like I don't know if they talk on the phone and it's just like in 3 hours he'll be able to call her up and be like, okay, whatever, the job interview went good. My impression is that's not the scenario. They are at quite a distance, and I think there's a geographical distance, and I think that because we're dealing with a 5D relationship here, I don't even think these two are together. So that's the premise we're going to go with on this storyline. And hang on, I have to pause for just a second. Violet, sweetheart, I am so sorry. Oh, honey, I am sending you and your sweet Penny lots of support and lots of love. I'm sorry that she crossed over the rainbow bridge too soon. Sweetheart, I'm sorry. Sending you a huge hug, and so is Aries. I hope you have lots and lots of really sweet memories, but you heal up, honey. Take as long as you need, and just know you are among friends here. I'd give you a hug if I could. I'm so sorry. This energy of, well, you know what? We send each other compassion, sincere compassion, right? And support. We all do that for each other. I know every single person in this chat is feeling right now for Violet. It's that's what we humans are made of, right? We can feel other people's energy because we know how we would feel too. And I think that that's maybe a really like to know that we're not really alone, that we have support around us. I mean, that is part of what we're seeing in this storyline right now. And I think it's, hopefully we can see the effects for him. It's warming his heart that she's sending him that kind of support. Now, at this moment in time, he may be feeling pretty alone. He may be feeling pretty like, the Four of Pentacles is when sometimes we pull back because we're just trying to like keep our energy together. But I feel like this is going to be something that really lifts him up. He may be on the outskirts of a really big city. He may be having to like prepare himself mentally, prepare himself to, like elevate and lift his energy. We've got this star card, and it is sideways. The star is, it still talks of this distance, right? And we have this DNA strand that is spiraling down from the sky. And I just feel like there's this wonderful, like, again, that 5D connection, through the cosmic connection, these two are connected. We saw it here. We see it again in another way. She keeps trying to send him like healing energy, and the star is also about distance. And it's like, we're not so far apart after all. We are not so far. I'm hearing that song somewhere out there by, well, I guess it's from Five Will Goes West, but it's a very sweet song. But with the energy of that waterfall coming down, and that, cleansing energy washing through, we get the sun upright and the wheel of fortune. This, everything here speaks of like, right now, maybe he could use this kind of support, and she's aware of it, but the message is getting through. The message is right there. The message is completely like this kind of pure white light. He may feel like he's a little bit surrounded by it. He may not even fully understand why he feels better, why he feels like a little more calm and peace coming into his heart right now. Even here, we see the baby's looking up like, hey, what's that bright light? This is like, there's something, helping him at like that deeper, like, our inner child level. And it's like, for some reason, despite the stress or despite what's going on, I do feel lifted. He may see a sunflower. He may be also completing something way faster and way easier and way better than what he thought, because this Wheel of Fortune says, it's almost like perhaps her positive energy has, like, if we could share good karma with somebody and help them get an opportunity. Like, I think moms do this a lot for their kids, right? Every mom out there is like, or dad out there for their kiddo, they're thinking like, come on, I want my kid to get, whatever their happiness is. I want my kiddo to like get that opportunity. And, parents are always like their kids' biggest supporters, right? They want to see their kids excel and be happy and have those opportunities. And I think that energy from one loving adult to another is the exact same thing. I want the best for the person that I care about. I want them, I'm rooting for them. And if I could possibly share any of my, strength or my good vibes for somebody and help a doorway open for them, I would gladly, give a big chunk of my energy if I could transfer it over to them. And I feel like that's what this message is about, because it looks like, not only is it like this bright white light and this healing and this kind of like clarity and happiness that he's, having wash over him, but we also see things going well. We see this channel is opening up, and now we see him on his way. I would just say this is a turning point for him. This is a turning point that she somehow facilitated just by sending her good thoughts his way. Maybe these two are, more cosmically intertwined with that strand of the DNA here. Maybe she literally is, sending her energy to him somehow. We've got the two of them really balanced with that high priestess energy. There is something, especially with the quartz crystal, that's a, really high vibrational, high frequency. Quartz crystal is supposed to be really high frequency because there's not too many things on this earth that are the same geometric shape at like the atomic level as they are when they get to be larger chunks. But quartz crystal is one of those things that it's the same at the tiny structure. It's the same shape as what we see in a bigger chunk. So it's considered to have like a really pure vibration because it doesn't change as you keep adding on, more molecules. Like, obviously one atom of Kate does not look like this, right? But that's quartz crystal looks the same at the small level as the big level. And so that vibration is supposed to be like really wonderful. And there is more to it, it's, if you compress it, it can glow. Quartz crystal can hold like a ton of information. That's why it's used in a lot of like electronic things also. So there's a lot to be said for quartz crystal. But you notice how there's the two scales on either side, which is not typically what we think of when we see the High Priestess card. So this is a really interesting energy. By the way, it does bring in some Libra vibes, possibly also Virgo, Cancer, and Pisces. I usually look at that as really strong feminine moon energy as well. And then with the sun, we had strong masculine energy. I should also mention that we have strong Aquarius in here, Virgo, Gemini. We also brought in some Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. But the fact that these two are having an impact on each other, even from a great distance, it almost feels to me like their frequency is tuned up right now, and their wavelengths are connecting really, really well, and it's doing them both good. I think because this is such positive, it's such positive energy. You notice how we have like the the waves are coming in, but it's kind of like to wash things clean, and we have the thunderbolts from the sky. It's kind of like Zeus and Poseidon together are like stirring up energy flow here to address the broken heart, to address whatever hurt, whatever pain. This is like very much a triumph over hurt, pain, sorrow, worries about things not going well, worries about betrayal. This kind of feels like these two characters are getting like a reset. When we start to have the Wheel of Fortune and then we have this energetic balance, she's definitely going to be receiving something in return for the good vibes that she's sending out to him. I don't know if somebody lives near the ocean or is going to see like a body of water that might have some sudden waves on it. Somebody could live in an area where the sky is pretty brilliant right now. There could be a thunder and lightning show, even just way off in the distance. I'm getting not super right overhead, but just like lightning off in the distance. We have a 10 of Pentacles. Sorry, I just also had this image in my head of like flashing lights, but more like not like neon lights, but at the beginning I said, I don't know if somebody's like trying to set something up, and I was thinking like fairy lights or something, because I was picturing somebody putting like nails or some kind of adhesive on a wall so that they could string like wires or something. I don't know if, heck, maybe this person works in like computer tech stuff and is like setting up, traveling for business, setting up, some big company or something. I don't know, but I keep getting like, this, when we feel relieved because a computer actually turns on and everything functions the way it's supposed to. It's like, whew, thank goodness it's rebooted. I'm getting like that kind of flashing light, like maybe their hearts are getting rebooted somehow. We have a 10 of Pentacles. This, I was just saying, I think she's going to be receiving something back in return for all this positive energy and love and support that she has very actively meditated toward him. And he has received it loud and clear at a time when he needed it. He needed that kind of support. She knew it. She sensed it. She had the picture of him in her mind. And I definitely feel like she had the picture of him in her mind. Not only that, but she pictured where he was. And she may have been spot on. Maybe he's wearing a brown jacket or brown suit or something. Maybe she could picture the skyline of the city that he's in. But again, he's outside of a city. I keep feeling like this is something like he's revving up to go to some work-related something or other. And she's like sending him that positive energy of like, you're going to be amazing. You got this. You got this. Don't be stressing. You got this. All of this looks so, I don't know, like on one hand, she's giving him the support, but also I think she's sending like the true vision that she has of him, which is he's going to do great. He's got this. But with her tapping into his energy like that and him being able to receive the message, that is going a long way to like resetting everything for both of them. There is some kind of like prosperity now. They're on like a new wavelength of prosperity. I think both of them must have had some significant heartbreak. Maybe that's why we have that really powerful intuitive energy between the two of them. Look, I don't want to turn the idea that like heartbreak or sorrow is like good because then, it makes us more maybe intuitive. I don't want to act like that's a good thing because I don't want our characters to ever have to go through stuff like that. But in this storyline, I'm wondering if, we got the card of heartbreak, and yet I'm interpreting it in like a positive energy flow because it's part of this shifting energy that is awesome. I mean, this is the happiest card. This is a positive change. This is a huge, amount of intuitiveness. And then we go, it's like they're both recognizing, maybe because we've had broken hearts, maybe because we've gone through devastating things. Maybe that's why we're more attuned to those energetic frequencies. Maybe that kind of like cracked our hearts open a little bit so we could access each other's energy flow. All I can say is for whatever hurts and pains they went through in the past, at this moment in time, it has become like the thing that helped them to both reach this new level of like, high level of frequency and connectivity. But I don't think it's going to be too long before these two have like tangible results. I still don't get how they know each other. Let me see. How do they know each other? We have the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. So it keeps looking like there's something to do with work related. Again, he's on the outskirts of a big city. I don't know if he goes away to go do work. The Ace of Wands is like inspiration, intuition. Again, because we're always seeing him outside of a city and because we've had so many cards of distance, I don't know, maybe this is like a they've worked together, but only like telecommunications, or, that maybe this is computer related stuff, right? Where it's like, he's tech support for something and she's dealt with him a lot, vice versa, something along those lines, where there's inspiration, there's light bulb moments, there's ideas that definitely have flown between the two of them. But we keep seeing him somehow on the outskirts of something. Like he's been working hard on something for a while, but I'm asking, how do they know each other? And we keep saying, maybe she is an inspiration to him in his work somehow, or has inspired him to do a particular type of work, or has just been like a supporter. Temperance. Maybe she's a ballerina and he's the tech guy on a performance or something. I don't think that, but not really. I'm just thinking, this keeps saying she's somehow like the divine has brought the two of them into each other's energy, and somehow she is this huge source of calm for him in an otherwise quite barren tundra, right? We see kind of these very dry plains with just this little tiny water source, and she's, on point right there at that water source. All this looks really sweet. It looks really like cleansing and really healing and balancing. So her energy has had a balancing effect on him as much as an inspirational effect on him. Who has he been to her? Can I just see that? 10 of Cups in the reverse. Okay, so she must have had a heartbreak as well. The 10 of Cups would normally be, somebody that I said, who has he been to her? He has not been her 10 of Cups, not yet anyway. And if anything, she may have met him somewhere after she maybe had kind of like a crushing blow, thinking she was going to be in some relationship with someone, thinking, imagining. All this has an imaginary vibe to it, not a very tangible, like, it's like, oh, I thought at one point in time I met the person that I was going to love. We were going to have this house. We were going to live in this wonderful life. And then it didn't happen. She may have met him somewhere shortly after she had a big upheaval in her own life. A dream was dashed to the rocks. Yeah. And okay, so listen, this is a two-way street for them. If she met him after one of her own significant heartbreaks, and I mean, it was like a huge loss to her. She either did not wind up, maybe she's divorced, maybe she didn't wind up having the life that she thought she was going to have. Maybe she met somebody she thought she was going to marry and it didn't turn out to even be real. All of this looks like imaginary. It was never realized. But the dream was, crushed. Because she was picturing kids with somebody. The whole 9 yards. The house, big old house, lots of wildflowers, a whole family, super happy. But it was still only up here. And then it fell short. And then she meets him, this 2 of Cups person, somewhere after that huge disappointment. And I do feel like he has given her a spark of like, wait a second, life goes on. There's other amazing people out there. I'm thinking that he, just knowing he exists, has somehow represented for her something else to like help, help her see that there are more days ahead, brighter days ahead. And that one admittedly sad, or disappointing scenario in our life is not the only scenario that we have to look forward to. There will be other beautiful things still in our life. So I'm thinking that he represented a real bright spot in her life as well. So both of these characters, no wonder they're 2 of Cups. They both have kind of had this, I'm going to use the word anchor, but I don't mean anchor as in pulling you down. I mean anchor as in like leveling each other out. They've had the anchoring effect to like tether the 2 of them to believing that there's better out there. She's been an inspiration to him. And then for her, he's represented like, what? There are brighter days ahead. So they've both done good for each other, even not really interacting, except possibly in a more professional context, because we've got way too many pentacles around here. We don't have cups. We don't have romance. We don't have, these 2 have not been, living some romantic connection together. At least I don't think so. Have they had any genuine like romantic connection yet? No, Page of Swords sideways, and we literally have it's at the starting line. It has not even begun. They've both thought about it, right? The light bulb is here, the clock is here, or the pocket watch. Oh, excuse me. No, it's not a pocket watch. It's the compass. They've both wondered about it, but again, they're always in two different places. You know what? I love the fact that this is one of those stories where, I mean, maybe these two like know each other through social media or something like that, work related, social media, professional, whatever the websites for professionals to, connect, or they've done long distance business together. But there's definitely been like they've given each other thoughts about I wonder what that would be like to have a romance together. But so far it's only been like it hasn't even begun except up here. And let's be honest, Page of Swords, that's just a page, right? We're not even to, pursuing like as a knight would. So it still is a long way away from that. But they're getting, especially after this period of time, how did she know to send him good vibes right now? Let me just ask that. Ooh, King of Cups. It's kind of a dumb question for me to have asked because literally we have her heart lit up there in the middle, and we have a feminine on a king card, and we have somebody who's made of water, submerged in water. Is that? I'm thinking of that movie. I don't know. It was around when I was a kid. I think it was called The Abyss. It's sci-fi. It's like a creature made of water that they encounter under the sea. Um, and the reason I say this is a stupid question for me to ask because we've already seen High Priestess. We've already seen that quartz crystal. We've already seen the Two of Cups. How would she know? How would she not know? She's connected, empathically, energetically to them. And in this case, we have water, which is all about emotions. But again, like great conduit of, energy flow, right? And she's like literally made of water. So it's kind of funny. How did she know to send him good vibes? How would she not know? Also, one other thing that I should point out here, look, she's made of water. She's not naked, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. But it's more like a mannequin's outline. But we do see this like trophy on one side, and then that I don't know if that's supposed to be a microphone or it's too short to be a walking stick. I honestly don't know what the item is on the other side. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a staff of leadership, but we know she's sending him good vibes. Like, you got this, you can do this, you're going to do great. And it was all kind of like work related. Like, she's projecting positivity to him. Like, you'll be successful, like you'll get the trophy. But maybe he does have to do like a speaking thing. Maybe that is supposed to be a mic. I don't know what that item is, to be completely honest. It could be like something more spiritual, like a rattle or something. But it looks like a microphone. So maybe he does have a speaking engagement, something that he needs to do. But she's like, you can be amazing. Even here, we look at her and she's sending out like all those thoughts out of her head, literally projecting it out to him. And with the Chariot, again, it's like she's cheering him on, rooting for him. Like, you made all these awesome steps in your life, and now here you are, that chess piece winning the game. You got this, you're on your divine path. The thing is, for her to be picking up that vibe and sending that kind of like love toward him, she's winning also, right? Because she's learned how to listen to her own intuition. If she's sending out beautiful energy and we can see it emanating upward, here's those like wings of the divine saying, that's what we want everybody to do. The divine is kind of like overseeing all of this and like cheering for both of them. Like, this is great. You're at your highest energy when you empathically care about another person and, want the best for them. And you're sensitive enough to, send vibes even to somebody that you just care about, even though you don't have a huge bond with, but you care about them. That is the energy of the divine. Another living, breathing person that is out there. You want the best for them. that is the divine through you. Doesn't matter if you've ever met them, really, as long as, every person should want the best for every other living person on earth. That is the best of us when we can hold that energy, right? And I just feel like this is her having, made all the right steps also. She's winning this chess game of life also. It's kind of a sweet way to look at, how do you win at life? Be loving, that's kind of it. There isn't a bigger secret than that. That kind of is a nice simplistic twist to it, and it also makes it easy, and it also um, I say it makes it easy, not so easy when you've been heartbroken and betrayed. But I think that's what the message here is that both of these characters have like overcome things that they've been through to still become really great people, to still become really loving people, to be able to, you know, compassionately connect to other human beings. I want to go back to that 10 of Pentacles because it seems like there's like an energy here of an energy of here we go. This is now going to become tangible success for both of them. We have a Queen of Swords and we've got the Rock Karen stacked here, which is, kind of like, I don't know if you've ever stacked those before. It's actually very soothing. It's like, it's so fun if you ever find a place that has lots of like river rocks and you start just stacking. For some reason, oh man, I took, there was an area that I used to live in and I had family come to visit and I was like, oh, I got to take you out to this place. And we got out there and they were like, this is so weird. Why are you making us do this? And I'm like, just stack some. And like an hour and a half later, they were like, no, I'm not done yet. It's like, we got to go to dinner. I'm like, it was more fun than you thought, huh? And they're like, yeah, that was really cool. So I don't know. There's something very soothing about building rock cards. I know it sounds weird that stacking rocks can become so meditative, but it's so amazing. So sorry, personal anecdote there. Super boring, I know, unless you've done it, and then you'll understand it. If you know, you know. But this feels like the whole like energy of what we've been talking about this whole time for this story and how things are shifting and that Wheel of Fortune is turning in both of their favors now. And we see both of them getting the message from the divine. And the way the divine is like kind of congratulating them and saying, you both passed, you graduate to the next level. You can now have the 3D connection. You don't have to live it in the 5D anymore. You mastered the 5D. Now you guys will get a chance to actually connect in the 3D. You've come to a place of peace. You've come to a place of like being able to feel connected to each other and wish each other the best, whether you ever saw each other's faces or not. But guess what? Now's a really good time for the two of you to take it from the intangible to the tangible, which I think is an interesting spin on this. It's like mastering the invisible connection was the baseline before these two get to the next harder level, which is to have a successful relationship where it's in the 3D, which, normally we think it's the reverse. You meet somebody and you're chit-chatting with them and you're building, a bond face to face in the 3D world. And then over time you get to know this person at a spiritual level. And then, a bond deepens and then it becomes a spiritual. Not for these two. Completely the reverse. I actually like that better, to be honest. I like this whole storyline. I like that it's got a couple of little twists in there, a little unexpected this and that. We see the butterflies have transformed her thought processes. We see, and maybe this is it. Maybe this is her breakthrough too. Like, wait a minute. I've been thinking about him. Something feels different. I mean, and it's kind of like, I think she's reached that point where it's like, it doesn't matter if I ever meet him in the real world or we have a relationship in the real world. It felt good to send my energy, positive energy, to someone that I care about. It doesn't matter if I ever see him or not. I still want the best for him. That kind of like that unconditional, I give love without needing to say, okay, now when are you going to show up? When are you going to be in my 3D life? It's like when she doesn't need that, when she's totally released that, is totally at peace. That might be why we have the breakthrough that, guess what? These two are ready to actually be in each other's worlds. That's actually pretty cool. We have the Nine of Swords. Why is he having a sleepless night? Because it's looked like this has been going really, really well. Page of Coins in the reverse, Page of Wands upright. You know, it's wild because if he's suddenly having a sleepless night, and he could be, there's again with the crazy lights over here, right? I don't know if he's staying in a place where there's like lots of lights right outside, because it's like a blur of maybe a lot of street lights, lamp lights, business lights, something that's kind of like, I'm picturing like, you know, when neon lights kind of flash outside of like a hotel or something. There's too many different colors flashing outside of a window. That alone could make you stay up all night for sure. But it could also represent his mind is full. He may be a very visual person. Maybe he thinks in color. You know, like some people, like massage therapists, will be like, okay, I just saw, you know, like a box of, you know, purple over your entire back as I was, you know, working on whatever, your trapezius or something. You know, sometimes people are like really, really visual about seeing auras and such, but maybe he sees colors more frequently. I don't know. That could just be a side note to him. My first thought is it's literally lights outside of a bedroom window, but he's not sleeping very good because his thoughts, which is interesting, his thoughts are turning from like this sense of peace to, what if it's too late by the time I either get done with something and can go talk to her? Because this is like, we have not had the right kind of conversation yet to, in this case, take it to a level of, you know, hey, I'm interested in maybe turning something from the 5D into the 3D more tangible realm. He suddenly has like this worry, and maybe it's because she's so calm, like it doesn't matter if I never see him in the real world. I feel at peace with the fact that, you know, I could send that person unconditional love. That is not going to be enough for him. He's not in that same energy of like, it doesn't matter. He might be picking up on the fact that she's really at peace and saying, you know, if that was what our journey together was, if it was just to meet somebody, to learn how to love unconditionally and to let him go and just know that like, oh, that was nice. I cared about another person. He's not in the same vibe at all. He doesn't want to think of her like somehow no longer being attached to his energy flow. And I think it's because she's so relaxed and can comfortably stop sending, you know, vibes to him, because she already did. You know, you don't have to send it continuously, right? It's like powering up your phone. Once it's juiced up, you can detach. You should detach the phone charger, right? She's like, I sent good vibes and I know he received them, and now I can detach the phone charger. He's fine. He's like, no, I want to make sure that phone charger is still there. I'm not saying he's being greedy with energy. I think it's just like, what if I never feel that energy again? That could be good, because we said that it looks like these two, they could now have a chance to have that more tangible connection. But you know, somebody's going to have to take it from the 5D realm and turn it into the 3D. And while certainly they've both been the recipient of each other's, you know, supportive vibes, I will still say that it's a little more heavily balanced in this story anyway, with her having been sending him vibes for a very particular time in his life right now. So I'm thinking that probably we're seeing, you know, if this is all about those scales that we saw being balanced on the High Priestess card, and now we have scales again, I could picture it being like, he's the one who's feeling, I need to balance this back out. I need to contact her. I don't think he's thinking about it in that exact, you know, like balancing ratio thing. I just think that's the way their energy works for these two. She's done something for me. I can feel that I'm powered up, but on the other hand, what if I don't get that vibe from her anymore? I that's not enough. I got to reach out to her. With that 6 of coins, this is like, I owe her some energy in return now. I have to. Here's a healed heart. Before we saw that 3 of swords and it was unhealed, now we have a healed heart. I definitely think somehow, some way, this is whatever she helped him through Even though I kept saying it was work related because of all the pentacles. Maybe the work was healing his heart, or maybe literally like a job that he was doing was simultaneously like washing away some old hurt or pain in his life. Sometimes we have to go and face something again, go back to a place. Like I know I've personally done this with intention. I've intentionally gone, it was a big distance too. I went to another country to create a new batch of memories because I symbolically needed to wipe out some other old memories. And so I've been that person who, that's just the way I am. It's a little extreme maybe, but I never said I was not. But I have gone and returned to a place intentionally to wipe clean the previous memories and have brand new ones without a particular person in them anymore. It's like going to taking new photographs that don't include them anymore. And I just need to do that for me. And those kinds of things, like I'm just saying that because I'm wondering if this is like the equivalent, like if he was about to face something, maybe work was taking him to a place that held old memories, it had old heartbreak, and he had to go back and kind of face that. And she was like energetically supporting him in that time. Now he's faced it. It did like cleanse something, it healed something. And now it's like, okay, I wiped the slate clean. I'm healed now, but I got to go talk to her. I got to give her something back because that just helped me. Again, we have this work related energy, maybe work and family. I don't know what this was that he needed the support for, but it was definitely something that she understood and that she energetically was there for him. I don't even know that it matters what the specifics of it happened to be, but it definitely has been, you notice how it's been full circle. Full circle. I like the fact that he's in that mindset that you can't receive a bunch of support from somebody without giving something back in return. This is a very equitable relationship, right? The whole thing has been like that. It's from that Two of Cups card where they're holding hands, shaking hands, kissing each other's foreheads, to the, scales that we've seen, the Libra scales a couple different times. All of this is about two people, even the chess game, right? It's all about, taking turns and keeping things equal and, supporting each other. But I feel like he's at that point where it's like, she's helped me a lot, but I can't leave it like this now. I'm going to have to reach out to her at this point. Kind of like I've got a debt to settle. With the Empress here and the Moon card, she does not see it that way at all. She literally doesn't see it that way. We already saw her as that Queen of Swords. We already saw her completely content. It's all right if I never hear from him again. I know that I sent unconditional love his way. You know what? It feels really good. I feel like I completed something. Yeah, because she did. She's leveling up with that, that next chapter of life with the Wheel of Fortune. But so too is he. It's kind of sweet that she doesn't expect anything in return. She doesn't think she was like, wow, I gave and now what do I get back? She's got no like attachment to, now I need to see him. We need to take this from the 5D into the 3D. She's just totally comfortable letting everything, if that was the end of the road here, she's content. She doesn't have any clue that that's not how the storyline ends, because that's not how he's going to let it end. Let me get, what's he going to do? That's where we're at. It's not going to be immediate because we got the Knight of Swords in the reverse. I don't think, whatever he's in the midst of, he's got to complete anyway, right? If you're in the middle of an obstacle course, you still got to complete that. So he's in the middle of, she was helping him get revved up to do something in his own life. He's got to complete that component. Because if he backs out now, it'll be like all that energy was for nothing that she sent him. He's got to do what he's got to do. And then maybe there's action. Yeah, 7 of coins and the 7 of cups. 7 is a divine number, and we got double sevens here. He's got some other seeds to plant. If he just came through something that kind of like tested him, his heart's clean and he's feeling more healed. Now he's like more grounded. I could see that he's going to need a little bit of time to just like plant the things that he needs to and really start getting a foothold again. which is, I can see why he's kind of stressed, because it's like, man, when am I going to be able to reach out to her? What if I never feel her energy like surrounding me or supporting me again? How come it feels like she might be kind of withdrawing some energy right now? It's because he doesn't need any more right now. She needs her own energy back for the time being, but he's got to complete whatever he's doing right now. And then he can go and approach her. She's got other stuff to attend to at the moment as well. Both of these characters, like the exchange is already there, the kind of like contract already exists. They've both leveled up and helped each other. Right now is a great time for them. Like, think of it this way. We can have, let's assume, because these two are going to end up together. I mean, I can see it in this whole story, right? This is a story of two people that had no tangible physical connection until they had already worked through that 5D connection. And the next chapter for them, the next level, the evolved level, is where they actually get to build a life together in the 3D. So that's coming. But if we were to reverse that and say these two had been dating, and then they were going to get to have this like powerful 5D connection, but our bodies get tired, we have to go to our houses, we have to go night. This is the time that they have to both go home and like go to sleep. That's fine. We expect that. We expect that, we only have so much energy to expend in a day, and then we have to get our 8 hours of sleep at night, and then we get up the next day and we can carry on. This is just like a temporary, like separation time, but it's really because they're both, I'm not saying they're actually asleep. In fact, if anything, these two have other things to be actively doing, but it's no different than if, we don't miss our partner when they're sleeping and we're sleeping, right? That'd be crazy. Like, oh my God, I can't go to sleep, or I'll miss seeing you. Like, we don't have to stress out about that. We all got to go night, and then we'll wake up and we'll see each other again. If they think of it more like that, then it's not like even a separation, or even like a, lag time. It's just that necessary rhythm. So there's really nothing to fret over here. Yes, there's a gap between them having had this 5D like accomplishment and the fact that they're going to end up in a 3D real relationship. There was a gap of time between the two, but it's no different than if we had to go night and we don't cry over that. So this isn't anything for these two to like fret over or mull over. In fact, they have other things to accomplish right now. I don't know, with it being the 7-7, we can see it's perfectly balanced. I mean, maybe it's only 7 days, but maybe it's 7 weeks, who knows? Maybe it's 7 months. It's not going to matter. Their lives are going to be so full. The big thing is that they got to focus on their own lives for this chunk of time. Yeah, 8 of Wands, and they're not going to be talking, and there's not going to be a bunch of connection right now. They're going to need all their energy to just do what they've got to do for the moment. And then some things will probably shake up, and it'll shake them right where they're supposed to be. It's funny because the universe is going to step in. They have to put their heads down and do the work that they got to do in their own lives for a little bit. Ooh, there could be these two won't have any communication. They'll be doing their separate stuff. And then this storyline says there could be like some difficulties, maybe that both of them could even face, or some endings, or some, fights or something. And the universe is like, well, yeah, I mean, changes shake stuff up. 5 is a number of change. That's not such a bad thing. It might get a little unpleasant for both of them, but that's okay too. They've got to have some kind of endings at some point that will then push the two of them into each other's lives. 8 of Coins, Knight of Cups, or excuse me, 8 of Cups, Knight of Cups. It actually looks like she has to have some kind of other upheaval in her life that could be a little uncomfortable. Maybe that's just it. Maybe he's going to wind up coming to her aid, or maybe he shows up in her life right about then. There's definitely, remember, in the cosmic, like, I'm not saying this is supposed to be a, like, you owe me anything. In fact, that's exactly what we're saying. This relationship is not that I've done this for you, now you owe me. However, at the same time, they are a balanced match. And it does look like there could be, like, he does want to give to her to level things back out because she sent him good energy at a time when he needed it. And it almost feels like she could hit a snag somewhere in the not too distant future. And that might be when his energy comes in. Maybe that's when he'll feel like, oh my God, she needs me. You know, it's going to be a two-way street. But then I'm thinking that that's probably when he comes in the 3D realm. We have the High Priest and we have the Seven of Swords sideways. It's definitely, that's when there's no more pretense, no games, no, look, his higher self is going to be totally like, it's go time. There's nothing on earth. I'm not even going to pretend that I don't know what I know. I got to go get to her. For whatever reason, I got to cross that bridge. He will know when to move toward her. It'll be the perfect time. Yes, it's against the backdrop of a time when she could go through something difficult, but that'll probably be all the more meaningful because he'll be showing up at a time when she needs his support. But he is definitely coming in that like 3D tangible connection because he's crossing the bridge. The bridge is literally the bridge between, you know, like coming from the 5D to the 3D. And he knows when it's go time. It's interesting how that action has been left to him. She sent a lot of vibes to him. He's the one going to show up in the physical form when she needs support. That's actually really nice. And that would be a full circle, you know, the two of them actually, you know, being there for each other. That's a very different love story, but it's definitely been one that's been kind of fun to explore. We haven't had one quite like that where it was so so opposite of what most of them are. So anyway, you guys, really good to see you. Hi, Denisa. Who that? Thanks for being here. The light. I'm so glad. And Gabrielle, how are you, love? Shout out to you in Australia. Rachel's magic. Hi, honey. Vernell, I'm glad you like it. What a great name you have. Hey, sweet. Zen Rocks, yes. Jeannie Vale, well said. RSU Angel, thank you. Thanks again, Ginger Montague and Bruce Reed. So good to see you. Cora Luna, hey, hey. Anisha Chatu, wonderful to catch you. Oh my God, that's amazing. Cora Luna, you danced with the Atlanta Ballet. Oh, that's incredible. You must be so strong. Ballerinas are just amazing. Hi, Ariel. RT. Shrina Craig. Oh, that's wonderful. Cherry Coleman, good to see you. Thanks again, RS and RT. Bruce, you are such a doll. You guys are so supportive. You guys are so kind. Ginger, thank you, Angel. So much love to our Violet. Sweet, absolutely. April Fresh, you angel. The Light, Jeannie Vale, Amani, Ava. Hi, Seashells. Tammy Johnson, so great to catch you. And again, Violet, I'm thinking of you, honey. Slay Princess, thank you for being here. I hear you, Rachel's magic. Esmeralda, hi, honey. Glad you popped by. We're just wrapping up on this one. All right, you guys. I will be back to a more normal schedule. I didn't have air conditioning. My air conditioning went out for like the last, I guess it was the last 5 days because I think I was sure that it was out on Friday. It was still making sound, but the house wasn't getting cool. And so it took me like 24 hours to realize it. So that was on Friday, but it didn't get fixed until yesterday afternoon. And so I had been having to leave all my windows open, and especially at night. But unfortunately, there's forest fires not far from where I'm at. And so I have really bad asthma. And so I have just been like kind of miserable. The coughing never got too bad, except by the time like Monday night, I was not feeling good at all. And then Tuesday, when they got it fixed, I was so happy. So I've been able to keep my windows and doors closed. So my coughing had kind of like settled down. So I should be back to more normal schedule now, and we'll get caught up on some zodiacs. I was going to do a lot more today, but I have to be honest, I'm still kind of tired. So I think we'll probably wrap up on zodiacs tomorrow. I really only ever got 2 done tonight on the other channel. I wanted to get some of the other collective messages done today. So, but I will see you guys on both channels more regularly throughout the rest of this week. Now that it's, I'm really lucky. I'm so grateful. So grateful right now. So anyway, you guys, good to see everybody. Ray J, thank you, honey. Johnny the Carnut, so good to see you. So delighted you popped in. All right, you guys, lots of love. I will see you again at midnight. I'll put out the today's topic on the other channel, Kate's Regretless Life. And then we will have a signs and symbols at 5 a.m. And then we'll get back to zodiacs. And I promise I will not leave our Cancerians high and dry. I'll do a Cancerian one tomorrow as well. So, all right, you guys, bye for now. Bye, the light.